Thank you all for being here. And I think Professor Devi has summarized all the issues, all the broad brush on which this book is based. It is a very human book. It touches upon, as he pointed out so poignantly, the greatness and the frailties of the man. And it's these frailties and these errors, both of omission and commission, which make you believe that here is a man who's genuinely trying to improve himself and in the process change the nature of political debate in the country. But let me go back to the specific thing that Sugata and I had spoken about some years ago, about the notion of forgiveness and what it does to the idea of political maturity. Now, this was arising from our work on the partition of India, which, as you all know, had more than 1 million deaths and several lakhs displaced. Victim stories abound, and there are volumes and anthologies of victims' accounts, but there's not a single named perpetrator. There is no person who committed those crimes. We have only victims, but no perpetrators, and that creates a particularly ambivalent situation in our thinking about what is trauma, who is to blame, who is to be forgiven, who is to be punished, because if nothing is done, the same crimes happen over and over again. So in the beginning of the book, as the whole chapter on grief and reconciliation starts with a very poignant issue of the children of the Gandhi family trying to interact with the assassins of Rajiv Gandhi and understanding and, in a sense, inverted commas, forgiving them. What's even more interesting is the attitude of of the alleged perpetrators or the presumed perpetrators and their resonance with the trauma that they have caused these two young children, Priyanka and Rahul Gandhi. So this is something that was picked up many years ago during the partition itself, when one commentator very astutely pointed out that the victims we can heal. He's a doctor, with the stitching of their wounds, but the abyss in the heart of the perpetrator, who has taken it upon himself to stab a person to death, that wound will take decades to heal and will poison the atmosphere of India for generations to come. It is that unfinished story of partition that we are living with now. When we see these kinds of sectarian violence, the lack of forgiveness, the permanent victimhood, the permanent quest for revenge for events that happened a millennium ago. So this kind of revenge politics has been perpetuated in a way which the very first two chapters try to dissuade us from. That there is a way out. There is a way out of both reconciliation and forgiveness and empathy, which will go on to build a stronger nation and a stronger community, rather than harping on vindictiveness and revenge as the only metaphor to drive politics. So this, in the current social context, becomes a very powerful statement, and therefore Sugata needs to be, complimented for bringing this issue of victimhood and forgiveness. It could be religious persecution, it could be caste persecution, it could be anything at all. But the violence that is endemic in our society of settling scores is really something that we should try to get over. After all of us were taught at school that the sins of fathers need not be visited on their sons. But we do not seem to understand even this simple truism.
ಹೆಚ್ಚಿನ ವಿಡಿಯೋಗಳಿಗೆ ಪ್ರತಿಧ್ವನಿ ಯೂಟ್ಯೂಬ್ ಚಾನೆಲ್ ಸಬ್ಸ್ಕ್ರೈಬ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ಬೆಲ್ ಐಕಾನ್ ಕ್ಲಿಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ.